Hello, fellow Liberty University students. My name is Forrest Ageness. Today, I'm going to be discussing the impact of religion in early America as a cohesive social bond. I will also be discussing the importance of Puritanism in American founding. The colonies that managed to survive and eventually thrive in early America were the ones that shared common belief systems. Many of the early settlers were not just seeking a place to escape religious persecution in their homelands, but were seeking a home that would allow for them to live in a society that was founded upon the principles and the guidance of the Bible. In America, they found a land that was free from direct interference by royal leaders such as Mary Tudor, who burned Protestants, and Charles I, who sought to bring Puritans in line with ecclesiastical conformity. There were other high-ranking government officials and monarchs who attempted to suppress or silence the voices of those in Europe during the Reformational movements, thus forcing those religious people into seeking out a new home and land that would protect them from the growing religious intolerance. Religious faith and moral order thrive, according to McEntry, on robust social bonds. This insight rests upon an implicit premise: to believe in religion, in God, and in the authority of the church is to believe in society. That is, an overall social agreement as to the right ways to live together. Under the laws of God, morality and social norms are formed and enforced, and straying from the norms created social disruption and also strife. When the Puritans established their colonies, there was no outside influences that were close by that could influence or challenge their founding ideals initially. The Puritans believed that God created society as a unified whole. Therefore, church was so deeply part of life within the community, there was little separation between social, economic, or spiritual life within the colony. As controlling as the societal system may have seemed, the strong social, economic, and spiritual bond allowed for the Puritans to thrive in an area that was far away from military protection or even emergency food supplies. Not all pilgrims, of course, as we know, were English, and we are also aware that Calvinists, Mennonites, Lutherans, and Quakers were not also English or from their homelands such as Germany or being Dutch or something along those lines. Because there were differing traditions based upon ethnic homelands where these people came from, there had to be a way for these differing cultures to coexist as time passed and populations grew. As assimilation proceeded, ethnic group boundaries did fade, but religious boundaries did not. Thus, the early concept of religious power in America is better understood as a social phenomenon rather than a political one. Religious groups became in part societal groups, thus Christianity did become a social bond. The final way for one to see how religion made a true impact on creating a cohesive social bond is how these early immigrants and pilgrims impacted law, government, and representation in this country. Of the compacts and agreements made by the settlers, or companies and grants, the Mayflower Compact has been one of the most significant documents that did influence future state and national constitution. The Mayflower Compact created a social contract and introduced and used covenants therein. The influence of the compact went even further by it being a document that gained consent by those who were to live under it, or simply, it gained the consent of the governed. When speaking about the covenants, these were more than just agreements between men. These were agreements between men and God. Thus, the foundations of the governing bodies were infused with the teachings of the Bible, and the principles laid out therein to guide the fate of the colony. Puritans, furthermore, sought to have a voice in the affairs of the governing of the community and the colony, and therefore they held town meetings. In the community, each member of the church had the right to address the meeting and have their opinions and voices heard. At the meeting, ideas and laws were put up to a vote, thus furthering the cause of individual freedom and a voice within the community. While it may seem that Puritans have faded away in some respects, that is not so. Many of the traits of those early settlers are infused into the American spirit and way of life. One of the clearest examples is that of hard work and controlled finances. These ideas that they can lift you out of poverty if you work hard enough, and that you can gain greater prosperity or wealth. Also, the Puritans brought a revolutionary spirit. They broke free from the Catholic Church. They even left kings and queens and homelands behind that tried to govern them and control them. They were very anti-authoritarianism and believed in individualism too. All traits that led to American rebellion and also the growth of America and the desire to create further self-determinationism. These are the people that drove westward expansion, the ideas of breaking free from that mold. Lastly, one of the greatest things that the Puritans infused into our culture and our society was the strong sense of education. And they aggressively pursued that everybody may have access to education. They helped found public schools, colleges, universities. They were constantly thirsting for knowledge and willing to share it with those within the community and without of the community. They set up all these different institutions in order to promote growth and individualism. There have been changes, yes, in society. The morals, though, and the lifestyle of the early Puritans, and also the cohesiveness of Christian morality, were allowed the United States to be a successful experiment of democracy, republicanism, and also help gain us national and worldwide global reach because of our desire to spread what was created early on, which is freedom, self-responsibility, and the ability to make your own destiny. These are all different things that we were given because of the Puritans and their willingness to reach out and to strive for something better, to live by the precepts of God, by the precepts of the gospel, and by the Bible, thus allowing for those impacts to still be felt within our society today. Thank you very much. I hope you appreciated and liked this presentation, and I look forward to hearing more of yours too. Thank you.